What's up guys, it's Aleksi here, welcome back to another video. In this video, I wanted to talk about just God and, kind of like not impressing God and not aiming to impress God, in the sense that God doesn't really care if you try to impress him or how much you endure and suffer for him. What he really cares about is that you change truly in your inside, in your corrupt disposition, and you go on the path that he's guiding you on. And they pursue the truth and you worship God and do these daily discipline practices. He's not asking you to do much else other than just be real with him and honest and open-hearted and praying open-heartedly and being open-hearted. And the most important thing you could do is not do all these impressive things and try to be a superhuman and try to impress God. And a lot of people fail in that aspect in front of God, is where they kind of try to impress God, or maybe even if we think about the new work God is doing here, there's a lot of people who are also trying to gift God or offer things to God and so on, but they all come from some kind of an intention to impress God or gain something or get a blessing or whatever. A lot of people kind of try to impress God in this way, but it's God is not really looking for you to in a sense expend yourself uselessly, in the sense that and suffer. He of course wants us to do our duty as created beings and spread the gospel and etc, and testify to him. But these are kind of different things, hardships and duties we do and that are important. But the main thing he wants us to do is pursue him and the truth. And doing all these impressive, overly exaggerated things, then overly expending yourself in every type of way, overly expending yourself is not the same thing as gaining the truth. And even you could do your duties even too much, to the point where you actually forget to pursue the truth and pursue God properly, and you're not spending enough time with God and pursuing the truth and contemplating on yourself and changing yourself. Actually, you're kind of pretending by pursuing all this. It could be maybe you're expending yourself and suffering and pursuing the wrong things, or even if it's just doing duties for God, and you're kind of pretending that all this expending and paying a price is exactly what you need to be doing, but it's not inherently changing your inner dispositions, and it's not working on yourself and your corruption, which is what God wants to do the most for us to do, is to clean ourselves and to work with God and contemplate on ourselves and come to know ourselves and change truly. That's the number one thing you should be pursuing. And then after that, of course, duties and things like this come in the mind. And these things can also help us in that path, but you need to have a balance of life, in a sense of doing these things. Because if you just do expending and suffering, but you don't actually understand anything about yourself, and you still you spend years in your faith and you never actually, you end up kind of muddled and you don't really understand yourself, in the sense that you don't understand what corrupt dispositions you have, you don't understand the truth, you don't understand how the world is wrong and what's wrong in the world, and what satanic things are going in the world, and what's wrong and dark in the world. Instead, you haven't come to understand these things, and you don't know about God's work or God at all, and his disposition and what God is like and what he wants us and requires of us actually. And once you kind of get stuck in that loop of suffering and paying a price, but not actually thinking this is what God wants you to do, maybe you're even pretending that God wants you to get married and to covet the flesh and something like these kind of lies. And you might read the truth a little bit and pursue our God a little bit, maybe pray here and there or something, but it's all kind of you're almost scheming for yourself, or you're lying to yourself in the process, and you're not really coming before God and really meeting his requirements or really accepting the truth the way you should be. And this is kind of where the point you have to kind of realize when you're doing this. But usually a lot of the people that do this are usually already kind of a little bit maybe lacking in their nature essence, or they definitely might need guidance on this. But yeah, I hope that this video can be a preemptive warning maybe, or something that think about when are you kind of uselessly suffering and paying a price, instead of just pursuing the truth and changing yourself, which is the main thing we should be focusing on always. And then secondarily, all these things can also help us grow in these environments, people and events and duties and things can help us grow in our faith and understanding of ourselves. But you just need to have a balance in life and really prioritize what's actually important, which is the truth. And that's the only thing that really matters to God, is that you pursue that first and then the rest. But thank you for watching. If you'd like to donate, that helps. Thank you very much. 101 is in the description. Thank you very much. It helps. See you in the next video.